Okay, so our next question is from Rory. What's up with fiber in kids? Rory says, as part of restoring my own gut health, I've used prebiotic fibers in various doses based somewhat on Grace Liu's advice, and I'm curious if and when supplemental fiber would be beneficial for my daughter. Again, assuming that she started off at a disadvantage because of the antibiotics, it seems to follow logically that prebiotic fiber would help her gut bacteria develop and increase her overall health and resilience. Is that actually logical? Are there any cautions? Is there a certain dose that's age appropriate, or do I just slowly increase until she has digestive upset? Should I mix fibers in order to feed a variety of bacteria, or are there certain fibers that are optimal for a young gut? I.e., what would a cave baby be most likely to eat or chew on for fun?
Man, that's a lot going on there. So I think I've mentioned the Sonnenberg lab a couple of times. I got to speak with Erica Sonnenberg at the event that Akil Palanisamy puts on each year with UCSF. And what was interesting, she mentioned that people, they've done so many different things, but just consuming fermented food. This was one of the studies. Folks were consuming fermented food, and they looked at their gut microbiome profile, the diversity, and the various ratios before and then during and then after the intervention of adding fermented food like kimchi and sauerkraut and stuff like that. What was interesting is that the gut diversity increased while consuming the fermented food, but it wasn't any of the bacteria that were part of the fermented food. And it's been understood for a long time, or at least somewhat understood, that that bacteria doesn't necessarily play a role in populating the gut, at least not long term, but it seems to tune the immune response and perhaps creates an environment that's more amenable for other organisms to occupy the space. So that's an interesting thing. It seems a little bit more holistic and kind of leaves all the information processing up to the gut and the ecology of the gut, instead of like trying to have this notion that we're going to pinpoint, fix anything that's going on there. We've talked about this in previous episodes. The supplementation with prebiotic fibers, it seems to be a little bit of a mixed bag. Some people do great with it. Some people do terribly. The point about having a really diverse mixture, I think, makes a lot of sense. Garden of Life, like Dr. Perlmutter's prebiotic fiber, is a really nice spectrum. It has acacia in it and like lemon and orange peel pulp, and it just has like 20 different things in it. So something like that could potentially be something that you add to maybe like some applesauce or something like that. I would probably keep the doses a little on the smaller side. I don't know that I would really want to run like a GI pressure test on that, but those are the things that I would noodle on with all that stuff. And if you're doing white potatoes, cassava, white rice, like going through the whole process of like cooking it, chilling it, improving the resistant starch profile, I think that stuff makes sense. But I would be a little bit careful doing outright supplementation beyond that. Do you have any additional thoughts? Nothing. Okay, yeah. But our kids love both kimchi and sauerkraut. They eat it. We forget to put it, if we put it out, they will eat it. We just sometimes in putting out the meal forget to, but most kids will gravitate towards that pretty well. So I think that's kind of a nice, simple baseline that you can have. That
just get the mild one.
Yeah, just get the mild one. Yeah. Every once in a while I mess up and get the red lid. And even though Sagan has a pretty spicy palate, it's a little bit much.
Yeah.